Welcome, my fellow tax professionals. In this video, we're going to be discussing the ramifications of a taxpayer defaulting on an accepted offer and compromise agreement. I'm your host, Attorney Robert Schaller, and the author of the course. The taxpayer can default on an accepted offer and compromise agreement in a number of ways. The most common one, perhaps, is the taxpayer fails to make the monthly post-acceptance repayments according to the Form 656. That'd either be the lump sum payments or the periodic payments. Another way for the taxpayer to default would be the taxpayer fails to make the annual payments that are required under, say, IRS Form 1040 or 1120 if you're a corporation. Another way for the taxpayer to default would fail to actually file the necessary returns. So what are the consequences upon a default? They're catastrophic. The first consequence is that the termination occurs of the agreement. There is no more agreement. Secondly, the tax liability that was owed prior to the tax agreement being accepted comes flowing right back, and the taxpayer owes that tax liability. Less, of course, any payments that were made by the taxpayer during the agreement period. But those are catastrophic events. And then worse, the IRS has the ability to start the collection again, try to collect that back taxes, including, for example, the IRS can levy the taxpayer's bank accounts, try to seize homes or other real estate, and garnish wages, or file a notice of federal tax lien. So it's very important that we understand these concepts. So enjoy the course. Let us begin by exploring the taxpayer's default of the offer and compromise agreement after acceptance, including the resulting consequences. A taxpayer defaults on the offer and compromise agreement by failing to stay in full compliance after the offer has been accepted. The taxpayer must fully pay the offer amount specified in Form 656 to avoid default. The taxpayer must remain in full compliance with all tax laws to avoid default. The taxpayer defaults by failing to stay vigilant and in full compliance with all the terms of the compromise agreement for the 5-year period beginning with the date the offer was accepted and ending through the 5th year, including any extensions. The taxpayer also defaults by failing to file all required tax returns during the 5-year period. The taxpayer defaults on the compromise agreement by failing to make all required non-Form 656 payments during the 5-year period. A default occurs when the taxpayer with employees fails to file quarterly Form 941 and make all federal tax deposits. The taxpayer defaults when the 1099 employee fails to make quarterly Form 1040-ES estimated tax payments. And a default occurs when the taxpayer fails to file and make annual Form 1040 payments on a timely basis, if any are required. The result of a taxpayer's default can be catastrophic. If a taxpayer fails to meet any of the terms of the offer, the IRS has the right to default the offer and reinstate the full compromise liability, less any amount paid by the taxpayer prior to the default. What's more, the IRS restarts the collection activities upon default, including lawsuits, bank levies, wage garnishments, and the dreaded notice of federal tax lien. Thank you for listening to this video, and please spread the word to your fellow tax professionals. The National Offer and Compromise Academy is available to help professionals expand their practice into the profitable area of offer and compromise. The music for this video was provided by www.bensound.com. You can contact the Academy from its contact page at www.oicacademy.com. Enjoy the online course and keep on learning.